Hi, my name's Leo and I'm a boat builder and a sailor, and I'm on a mission to rebuild and restore this 109-year-old classic sailing yacht, Tally-Ho. It is Saturday afternoon here, so I just released episode 53 earlier this morning. I was so busy finishing up the editing yesterday with Joe that I neglected one of my daily tasks, which is to mark up the thickness timbers from the templates to be bevel cut on the ship saw. So I'm going to do that now. Right now we are in the middle of our second and final frame raising period, and in this video we're going to be following one futtock, that is one part of a frame, all the way from being a template to being rough cut in the yard and through various different processes until it is installed in the boat as part of a finished frame. So like every futtock, the one that we are focusing on starts off with a template. Right now I'm sitting on the lofting floor, which is a full scale 1:1 size drawing of the boat in 3 dimensions. This part of the drawing is the body plan, which shows a 4.5 view of the sections of the boat. So basically each of these curved lines represents one frame. This is the template for frame 7A, which is the one that we're going to be working on now, and it was taken off of the lofting floor before we started the frame raising. The numbers on the frames represent the angles of the inside and the outside. They have to be angled in order to receive the planks which curve around the outside of the boat on a reasonably flat surface. And these angles are worked out by using some trigonometry on some measurements that are taken off the lofting floor.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Finn, and part of my job throughout this framing process is selecting and cutting out all the futtocks, which are the individual pieces that make up each frame. Using the template, I'll be trying to find the best fitting boards for the sweep of the frames, trying to follow the grain as much as possible. Obviously throughout the process we're trying to stay clear of any rot, any sapwoods, shakes, knots that might be in the timber, these sorts of defects that will make the frames weak.
So this is the next stage of 7A's journey, and at the planing jig, we just need to smooth out any high or low spots so that one side is flat, and then it can be sent into the thicknessing machine. I just need to get each corner as close to level as I can. It's actually a little bit twisted, and so that's all going to have to come out with the planer before it can be thicknessed. All of the high spots have been taken down. There's still a couple low spots, but those are basically invisible to the thicknessing machine. So this one's ready to go inside and get trimmed down to be flat on both sides.
So I went away and I came back and turns out Janice is a boy. I've been away for over a week and now I've been back here for a couple of days. I'm going away again tomorrow.
You going back?
Yeah, I'll be back.
So I'm now marking up the futtock that we've been following through the yard. So the first thing that I do when I'm about to mark up the frame is lay out all the pieces and decide which side of each futtock has the most defects on. So I have that side facing up, but I'd also mark on that side that I'm seeing any defects that are on the other side. Then you have to think a little bit about which bevels are going which way on which different futtocks, and sometimes you have to rearrange them a little bit, and you also have to make sure that the butts are going to be far apart enough on the adjoining futtocks. And then I simply draw around it in pencil. I make a few tick marks to show its position, and then I make a note of the frame number, what side of the boat it's on, if it's a forward or an aft futtock in its particular frame, and of course a note of which side the positive and negative bevels are. This is a job that I really like to do myself because it's a form of quality control at this point. You're seeing what pieces are going to be going into the boat. If the timber that we had was a bit more consistent, then perhaps we wouldn't need to do it like this. Often it's possible to actually just mark out and cut the frame directly from the flitch, the unprocessed board in the yard. But the timber I've got, as well as having a few defects in it, and some of it's a little bit wavy, and so for us we have to plane and thickness it anyway to make sure that all the futtocks seat nicely against each other to make a frame. It's a little bit more work, but the result is a much more efficient use of the timber and hopefully really nice, clear, strong timber throughout the frames. So here's another futtock which isn't too bad, but I've had to position this one a little bit carefully because there is a large knot down at the bottom here, and around that knot the grain goes kind of funny, and then at the top you got some pretty deep shakes here. As we get near to the heart or the pith of the tree, which would have been around here, and you get these radiating shakes coming out from it. So this particular futtock is going to end here and here, and luckily the next futtock above it is long enough that this one can be that short.
So 7A has been planed in thickness and Leo's marked all the angles on it. Now we're going to bevel cut those angles.
Right now we have just transferred the bevel angles to the side of the futtock so that the person who is moving the futtock through the bandsaw can see it, and the person who is operating the bevel handle also can see the numbers along the side.
It's time to cut the butts, get it lined up, ready to be trunnelled to the other futtocks. Lots of clamping and unclamping. Beautiful.
We are going to stack it, clamp it, drill it, unstack it, paint it, stack it again, wax some trennels through it.
That was
pretty close to stabbing me in the hand.
Yeah.
Tar is used to fill any gaps there might be between the two futtocks where it hasn't flattened perfectly.
Hit it.
Champion!
What is this?
The boys showed me how to film.
Oh
I'm
no.
a videographer now. What do you want to say?
I feel like I've been usurped. I want to talk to my union rep.
Now it's on.
I'm making pasta with red sauce with summer squash in it. Loads of summer squash.
We have a guest chef in the kitchen. Jordan,
Hi.
what are you making us?
I am saving some leftover steaks.
This is now a cookery show.
Next stage, after the frame's been scraped and sanded, is we bring it into the workshop, onto the lofting floor, sit the frame on the correct line, 7A, which this frame is, and using these little marking gauges, we'll then use a couple of squares and a straight edge ruler to transfer on our water lines and buttock lines.
We're going to start to cut the heel.
Now that the futtocks have been rough sawn on the ship saw, it's my job to take it down to the line and get all the geometry right before we put it in the boat.
Alright, so the futtock that we've been following, which is now part of frame 7A, is about to be fitted into the boat as a finished frame. The guys have trimmed the heel on it and they're going to put it in for its first dry fit. And hopefully you guys now understand a little more the process that takes one of these frames from rough cut sawn lumber in the yard to a quite intricate three-dimensional shaped piece of timber inside the boat. Now this is just one futtock that we've been following through the process, and there's 44 pairs of frames in the boat. So you can see what a lot of work this process is, and there certainly are quicker and easier ways of doing it, but the way that I've chosen to do it specifically with the type of timber I've got is a way that is going to give the best result and leave us with the strongest frame in the boat. And that's a really important part of the build, because it's the frame on which you place everything else. And the planking, the stuff on the deck and so on is all a lot easier to change out later, but the backbone of the boat and the frames are a real pain. So if you start from that really strong foundation, then you should be in a good place to build the rest of your boat.
Is that where it goes? Yeah.
So now we have the frames dry fit into the keel, and so we've pulled them back out, and now it's time to get the router and get routing.
Right,
Can you see me, Joe? Can you see me?
Is this prop? Does it matter that it's not in?
Did my foot get on camera?
Yes, your foot's very much on camera.
Joe, turn the screen around. I want to see myself.
No.
Joe, turn the screen around.
Do your damn job.
We finished cutting the pocket, and so we painted the pocket with red lead, we painted the heel with red lead, and now we're going to put a mixture of pine tar and dolphinite. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 7A is now in the boat. It's secured, and we will check it out.
Now you can scribble.
It's now a permanent part of the boat.
So we just got to the end of the third week of the frame raising now, and we've got 9 frames completely finished and installed in the boat. We've got 2 more halfway installed, and we've got another 4 or 5 in different stages of production. So we're doing really well, and we've done a lot more than half of the work that we got to do in this period. But that's all we got time for right now, so thanks a lot for watching, and a massive thank you to everyone who's supported the Tally Ho project. It makes a huge difference, and it means we're able to take the time to make and edit these videos, so I really appreciate it.